Being a Suns fan, I've gotten used to disappointment, but after this week, I have finally reached my breaking point, which is crazy to say, considering the fact we went 3-1 this week. I'll be having an in-depth discussion on the Suns along with other storylines and notable things from the week in this week's episode of In Case You Missed It, the weekly recap on this channel that drops every Monday at 3. Why is my favorite team acting like a modified basketball team right now behind the scenes? In the locker room, we got disgruntled employees whose name is Jusuf Nurkic, and he has been crashing out over nothing, and now he finds himself completely out of the rotation because of how bad he's been. Yet he has the audacity to be upset about not getting minutes, although he has been a liability on both ends. In a league full of two-way players, he is currently a two-way liability who is upset about the fact he's losing minutes. It's pretty clear that you are losing the minutes since you are not a positive in any way, shape, or form when you're on the court. It really doesn't need to be told to you. But to hear that there has been drama in the locker room of late, it seemingly is clear he is a center point to that. And then as someone who had the pleasure of attending the Suns game in Philly this week, every time he was subbed out in the little minutes he got, he was visibly frustrated to a point that any fan in attendance paying attention to him could see that. Then you look at the Bradley Beal drama. The Suns are trying to make him disgruntled. We're trying to hurt our team chemistry in order to get him to waive his no-trade clause by benching him and making him come off the bench. And it is seemingly a tactic the upper management wanted the team to enforce. I think that's pretty clear. Now, I'm not entirely convinced that this is the reason Beal is coming off the bench now, but the timing of it is certainly questionable. Realistically, they should have made this adjustment much, much, much earlier in the season, and the fact they didn't do it until this week just makes it a little bit more suspicious as well. But anyways, the handling of this Bradley Beal situation is childish, like not even letting him know he was going to come off the bench until the day of, or letting him find out from the media. Really? It's just so blatant that the Suns are trying to hurt the chemistry and make him disgruntled. Sure, the team has looked better since Beal has come off the bench. We can sit here and say that moving him to the bench has made him and Devin Booker both look better, as both players have looked better since the move. But are we really going to sit here and say that in the 4-game sample size against a Philly team that Devin Booker actually played horrible against, and the Philly team is very flawed, a Charlotte Hornets team that is one of the worst defensive teams I've ever seen in my life, a quality Atlanta Hawks team who was missing their second best player, and an 8-29 Jazz team is really the best sample size to say this adjustment changed the team's trajectory? I'm not buying it. I don't think so. But hey, sure, there's optimistic signs around it. Whoopity-doo dah. It doesn't help that Kevin Durant, since coming back from injury, isn't as aggressive or assertive anymore, which is truly alarming in my opinion, because when we started the season 9-1 with him, he was playing at an MVP level and he's just quieted down. Then I look at our role players. Honestly, our role players have been fine, at least the guards and forwards. Now, look at the centers. All 3 of our centers are bad. They're all ineffective in the grand scheme of things, but only 2 work hard enough to really earn minutes. They don't complement the team well enough, as we need a center that can block shots, and none of them are really shot blockers. There are centers on the market that I would personally love, but we simply do not have the assets to acquire them. So I could be delusional and say, yo, Jakob Poeltl, come to Phoenix, but that's not happening. That's my preferred person to get on the trade market. But anyways, Jimmy Butler to the Suns is mentioned every 5 minutes, but listen, we can sit here and talk about that potentially happening, but at the end of the day, Jimmy Butler is not fixing our horrible center rotation. Jimmy Butler is not fixing the chemistry issues day one. Guess what? We already know that when we add someone mid-season, chemistry takes forever to build, and one of our biggest issues as a team right now is chemistry. So yes, that's going to help us a lot. And at the end of the day, even with Jimmy Butler, the team is not going to compete with anyone in the West, let alone for an NBA title. So for me to hear that Jimmy Butler to the Suns is a possibility, Jimmy Butler wants to play for the Suns are doing everything in their power, whether it be harming the team right now by making Bradley Beal disgruntled and stuff, and all of this mumbo jumbo because we want Jimmy Butler and we think we can get him and be contenders. I honestly think all the drama surrounding this really just makes the Suns the biggest joke in the NBA. Like, what are we doing? Jimmy Butler is not going to fix our biggest problems. Bradley Beal isn't that big of a problem. Sure, he's not great on the Suns, but that's not the biggest glaring issue. It's the centers, it's the rotation, and it's all this drama and chemistry stuff that we're not helping by trying to go out and get another star player. So, again, Phoenix Suns, saddest stroke in the NBA. Unfortunately, I am a Suns fan. So that's the sad reality I'm living right now. Currently sitting at 33-4, the Cleveland Cavaliers are the undisputed best team in the NBA right now. The craziest thing about it is that it isn't even in large part because of their top two backcourt in Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell. Rather, it's their dominating frontcourt in Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. If you looked at it the past 2 seasons, Mobley played his best when Jared Allen was hurt, and Allen played his best when Evan Mobley was hurt. In 2025, these two have played so well together that they are a matchup nightmare for every team. They work a beautiful high-low basketball game with both players alternating spots. Both players' skill sets in terms of playmaking and passing has reached levels we have never seen before individually, and with their chemistry now, they are an absolutely frightening force. Evan Mobley in his year 23 season is finally embracing contact and asserting himself in the interior for the first time in his career. Jared Allen finally looks comfortable in the Cavs system. If these two things sustain, likewise to what I said last week, the Cavaliers can win the NBA championship this year and will be able to beat Boston. Shout out to the team's bench, though, as well, and their schemes on both ends, because those are also 2 big factors in this success. My confidence in Cleveland is growing by the week, but I am also losing confidence on the daily with a team named the New York Knicks, as there were questions about them being frauds storming across NBA media last week, and I ignored them because I never thought of them as frauds, but after this week, I am ready to entertain that conversation. Against the Thunder, we saw some big-time stinkers from Mikal Bridges, who dropped a donut, and OG Anunoby, who was disappointing himself with, 4 points? Earlier in the week against the Raptors, Bridges and Brunson both underwhelmed, and to open the week, they didn't have Cat, but were beat by a depleted Magic team. All of these issues stem largely from the fact they do not have any type of bench production, and outside of the starting 5, they have no players they can trust to do anything productive. It is the sad reality they are faced with, and seeing how if 1 or 2 of the players are out or having an off night, the team completely crumbles, and seeing the directly correlated struggles from that, I think they are becoming slightly overrated. I wouldn't say they are frauds quite yet because, they got 4 players who can go out and drop 30 or even 40 points on any given night, but they are extremely vulnerable as outside of the 5 players they have in their starting lineup, who actually have been pretty inconsistent all year, there is nothing else promising with the team. He's back! Paolo Banchero at the Orlando Magic, after missing 2 months, came back and dropped 34, 7, and 3 in a restricted 27 minutes. Unreal. And the fact the Magic were still winning without him speaks to how dangerous the team truly is. They may not be able to shoot, but I wouldn't want to face them in the playoffs at all. The Sacramento Kings, since firing Mike Brown, are now 6-0, and to make things crazier, Fox has been out too. More context here. They beat the fully healthy Celtics in Boston by 17 without Fox this week. Am I confident in the team now, though? Ask me again next week. Zion Williamson came back for the first time since November this week and was suspended immediately after, which was crazy, but surprisingly unsurprising. Victor Wembanyama is within the top 5 on the MVP power rankings right now. Not sure I can exactly say I agree with that, but my goodness, his reliance on the 3 ball is starting to worry me. I know he is the future of the league. Him being able to shoot the 3 at his height is just evolution. But call me old school, but I would much rather see him use the blatant height advantage he has, especially in the clutch, to help close and win games. I'm not saying don't shoot 3s. I'm saying vary the offense, because at times he is one-dimensional. In case you missed it, the Minnesota Timberwolves changed their starting lineup as they moved Dante DiVincenzo into the starting point guard spot, moving Mike Conley to the bench. The team went 3-1 with the change. Dante was killing 2 this week, making the change seemingly the right move for the foreseeable future. Zach LaVine actually almost won an award this week. Wait, he actually did win an award this week. He is your Week 12 MVP. 33 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists with elite efficiency over his games this week. get the Week 12 MVP out of Chicago yesterday, as he has played his trade value up so much that I can confidently say he will help a contender now. Your surprise player of the week wasn't really surprising, but he was different this week, as Russell Westbrook was leading the Nuggets without Jokic and was the co-star Jokic needed when he played. 23 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists across 3 games this week. The Sacramento Kings are your team of the week, and the worst team of the week is the Boston Celtics, something I've waited to do for 2 years now. They finally lost 2 games in a week, and both were bad losses in their own way. I hope you enjoyed my Week 12 episode of In Case You Missed It. My updated power rankings are up on the screen now. If you want to watch my power rankings breakdown as of Friday, click the video on the right, and if you want to watch episode 11 of In Case You Missed It, click on the video on the upper left. Y'all stay safe, have a good one, bye. Don't forget to like and subscribe, as it does help out a lot.